Hey, how's it going guys? Reed here and welcome to ReadReborn. Hope you guys are having a brilliant day. In today's video I'm coming at you with the first dungeon guide of the Legion beta. I haven't really been playing it that long. I've been doing a couple of dungeons, trying to learn the tactics in my live streams and stuff so I can make these videos for you. So in this video I'm going to do a dungeon guide on one of the first 4 dungeons that's available in the Legion beta from level 98 to level 110, which is the Halls of Valor. As you can see behind me, this dungeon looks amazing. Basically what I normally do in my dungeon guides is just give you tactics for the boss fights and anything else that I think might be worth telling you or letting you know from any of the other fights in the dungeon. But anyway guys, hope you enjoy and let's get kicking off with the first boss. So first up, this dungeon has 5 bosses. As you can see on the right, we've got Himdall, Herja, Fenrir, Godkin Scovold and Odin. So the first boss, as we can see here, is Himdall. Overall, this fight really isn't too difficult, there's not much to look out for, but one of the main mechanics in this fight is, as you can see, when Himdall blows the horns of Valor and summons some Storm Drakes. Now these Storm Drakes, as you can see, come from the side of the arena and basically go across with some lightning. If you're standing in front of them, I would recommend getting out of the way because they do some fairly high damage, and if you're in it for too long, you'll probably die, so if you see that, make sure you get out of the way. The second mechanic to look out for is Dancing Blade. As you can see from the ranged healer or melee over there, there's a little tornado whirlpool thing on the floor that summons, and then Himdall will throw a spinning blade over to their area. So if you see that little AoE, that spinning AoE on the floor, just be sure to move out of the way because there's a blade inbound. And I think this can only affect ranged players because I didn't see it target anyone from melee distance, so I think it can only attack or only happen to ranged melee or DPS or the healers as well. So that's everything to look out for in this fight. Just keep burning him down and healing through any of his moves, and then you can continue with the dungeon. So after taking out some trash mobs, you're going to arrive at the second boss, and before you actually fight Herja, you're going to have to take out these 2 mini bosses first, and these basically give you a taster of what's to come in the boss fight. So as you can see, he's casting Eye of the Storm and casts a big shield bubble thing. Now you want to be standing in this so you don't get hit by the lightning, and that's pretty much all this guy does. Literally just keeps doing Eye of the Storm. Just remember to stand in the shield so you don't take any damage. So after you've taken out the first mini boss, you're going to have to take out a second one. Now he basically again gives you a little taster, just does one specific move that you're going to be looking out for, and that is Sanctify. As you can see, he's loads of these spinning blades sort of come out of him in a spread sort of style, and anyone that's standing in melee range is probably going to die just because loads of them are going to be coming out. So I would recommend, even for melee DPS and range DPS to be fair, if you're close, to definitely just move away from him so you have enough time to sort of judge what direction those blades are coming in, and so you can dodge them as well. So after you've taken out the second mini boss, Herja's going to come down and then you can start to fight her, and the first thing that you'll notice when you start the fight is there's 2 lightning beams from the 2 mini bosses that you just killed that are attaching onto her, and these basically allow her to do the certain moves that those mini bosses did. So for example, the blue one lets her do Eye of the Storm and the yellow one lets her do Sanctify. So that's why the tank should pull Herja away, so she's only attached to 1 lightning beam, and that means she can only do 1 move. So for example, our tank pulled her towards the mini boss that did Eye of the Storm, and that means that she can only cast Eye of the Storm. As you can see here, she didn't do Sanctify once in the whole fight. Apart from those 2 moves, just keep DPSing her down and healing through, and then you can continue with the dungeon. So after heading to the other end of the hall and through the portal into this cool garden area, you want to head left because the first phase of the fight with Fenrir from 100 to 60% is located on the left of the map. So come to this area and that's where you're going to have the first phase of this fight. So there's only 2 moves to look out for in the first phase. The first is Unnerving Howl. Basically he'll just interrupt any cast that you're doing or any other player in close proximity. And the second is Ravenous Leap. As you can see, 2 players are marked by red skulls, and he'll just dash between those 2 players or however many players are marked, and just do some slight damage. But apart from that, keep DPSing the boss down until he retreats to his den, and then work your way to his den for the second phase of the fight. So once you reach your den, you're going to have phase 2 of this fight, which lasts from 60% back down to 0. You're going to see the 2 similar moves that we saw back up earlier, and then 1 additional move. Just keep in mind that Ravenous Leap does actually give you a debuff, a bleeding debuff, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, this final move is called Scent of Blood, and basically the boss is going to target someone, and you're going to have to run away from the boss because if he catches up to you, he's going to deal fairly high damage, and it gives you a scream prompt to run away if you see this, if you're targeted by it. But luckily it was our tank, so he mitigated it with cooldowns and big heals, so it didn't really affect him that much. But if it happens to you, make sure you run, but you'll be told about it anyway. Apart from that, just keep DPSing the boss down and he'll be dead, and then you can work your way back up the map, up to the halls again, and continue with the dungeon. So once you reach the Halls of Glory, you're going to have to take out 4 kings before the penultimate boss, God King Scovold, spawns. These guys are just like mini bosses. They have quite a lot of health, but there's really nothing to like look out for mechanics wise. But one cool thing I thought I'd point out, just a little added extra into this video, is the last 2 kings that you fight together. It's actually like an Overwatch Easter egg. One of them's called King Tor, and the other is called King Bjorn. And if anyone's a fan of Overwatch, you know that there's a hero called Bjorn, which is actually really cool that they threw that into the Legion beta, which is quite nice. And I thought I'd just point that out. But anyways, once you've taken out those 4 kings, God King Scovold's going to spawn, and there's basically one mechanic to look out for in this fight while you burn him down, and that is the shield. As you can see, he casts Ragnarok, and the tank has like a shield ability which is called the Aegis of Agramar, and basically when the boss casts Ragnarok, the tank needs to put up the shield and everyone needs to stand behind it to prevent any damage. And after that, the boss is going to use Aegis of Agramar, and that basically means that you can only really attack him from the direction behind the shield, like you can't attack him in front of the shield. And that's basically it. Literally, apart from that, he might just dash between some players, do like a little tank buster thing, but literally just heal through that and burn him down, and that'll be him done. So after you kill Scovold, Odin's going to jump down, and he's the final boss in this dungeon. There's a couple of mechanics to look out for. This is quite a fun fight actually, but yeah, the first mechanic is one sort of AoE. As you see, there would be like a whirlpool sort of AoE on the floor, and then this big sword will come out of the floor, and basically just move out of that so you don't take any damage, and that's good. So the next mechanic is Radiant Tempest. As you can see, there's a large AoE around the boss. For a Demon Hunter, really easy to get out of the way of, but for other classes it might be a bit hard. It gives you ages to get out of the way, so as soon as you see that, just be sure to move away from the boss. So next up we have Shatter Spears. Basically, out of these cool swords out of the floor, there's going to be like these fire orbs that just move around. And whilst this is going on, also there's a move called Runic Brand, and every player is going to be given a sort of, like a mark above their head, and they have to run to the corresponding rune. And yeah, that's basically how you get out of the way of that. So whilst dodging those fireballs, head over to your specific rune and you turn into this angel which has like some mad movement speed, damage and stuff. So it really makes this fight a lot quicker, and since you only have to take the boss down to 80%, it makes the fight, the last like 30 seconds, 20 seconds of the fight, a lot quicker, so that's really nice. But yeah, literally that is a really short fight, but it's quite fun and quite enjoyable. But after you've done that, you would have completed the Halls of Valor. Anyway guys, that is my dungeon guide over. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, share and subscribe for more WoW Legion dungeon guide videos in the future. And if you're new to my channel, check out some of my other videos. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'm sure I will see you again really soon.